So it's a very momentous occasion. And my first question to you is really about how does it make you feel, right, to be part of this project?
Well, it has a lot of links. You know, the first link that I thought of specifically about the amendment was thinking about my grandmother. She was very progressive, and she was actually a woman of action, you know. So that's the first link that I actually had. And of course, you know, I mean, Susan B. Anthony came up to the rise because, I mean, she was the force behind
Right.
this effort. I mean, thinking about that era and her vision towards the future is what made me think of the word stride. It's not because there is a genre in music, you know.
I was wondering.
That you know, no. It's based more on my recollections or my impressions of her energy. And also, you know, when a person walks with stride, that person, you know, has a force that, I mean, it doesn't take no for an answer. I mean, it's like, keep going, keep moving until you get to your destination. So that's what I felt. So there's always a lack of representation that have permeated the community and the programming in the nation for centuries. So this have been a bold move that in a way is a correction, you know, charting the way for other orchestras to emulate. Because after you commission 19, the other orchestras cannot say that. I mean, you cannot commission 5 or commission 10, you see. My sound is the sum total of my experiences in sound, starting from my childhood to now. Because whatever that I write now that might have jazz overtones has to do with my presence in this culture,
Yeah.
you see. Because I was not involved in jazz in Cuba.
I was wondering.
You see, I mean, I was involved in the music of Cuba, you see, meaning I was at the conservatory. However, at the same time, I was playing anything that I heard on the radio. I mean, anything that we would put together. I mean, a bunch of us students from the conservatory when we got together. Everything that my brother and I invented at home, you see, that didn't have anything to do with playing Beethoven, Bach, or Mozart, you see. So right there was an inclination to inclusion of sound. In Stride, there is an example of many of the things that I do where I mix techniques of European tradition, you know, classical tradition in writing, with languages that all of a sudden surprisingly emerge. And one of the languages that I tried to really bring in there was what for me is the American language, you see, that it might be a sophisticated jazz gesture. In other aspects of the piece, it is totally non-generic. You know, it's like the section that I remember very well in that piece because it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Is the section that I call the stride. You know, which is a section that is for me is that this gigantic pair of legs walking, you know, and going.
Oh, this would be in the low strings.
Yes, and it's not regular. I mean, in other words, I mean, if you hear it, you cannot assume that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's where the that imaginary big foot lands. You see, so in other words, I think that it gives those that listen to, you know, surprise of where's the next step. You know? And then you hear it, and there it is, and then you try to catch it, and there it is. You know,
there are many places in the work, especially at the beginning, really, where we first hear trumpet calls, but in the whole range of the trumpets. What are you thinking about with those trumpet calls?
It's a trumpet call that, again, at the end, it might give you the sensation that it has influences other culture, you know, I mean, and that other culture for me was the first one that I heard that it was sort of like American to me. You see, I mean, it might not be analyzed that way by others, but that's how I heard it. It's a kind of trumpet that, okay, here I am.
Here I am, and there's a kind of insistence to it, and the fact that it keeps coming back. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here, you know.
Yes, 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 yes. I mean, it's in a way what I perceived with her. I mean, she was determined to make this happen, and this is like an announcement.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to do this. You see, and I bring it back at the end. You see, before the 19 bells. You know.
19 bells and your piece on. It's the two.
Exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.